everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my continued playthrough of Yggdrasil Chronicles, where we are playing the mighty gods Thor, Tyr, and Freya as they try to create promises throughout the land to protect the life of Balder, or the spirit of Balder, or whatever that's working out to be. This is a scenario-based game, and we are playing through a series of scenarios that is called Baldur's Murder. It's the first saga. And in that we've been trying to get the promises, these tokens, promise tokens out to the various lands of the 9 realms before certain events happen. And we're pretty close to doing that. I think we'll do that in this episode. I don't think this particular chapter was meant to be difficult. I think it's setting the stage for something else. You can also just play a single game. There's a easy, moderate, hard mode type game where you can just play one game and that's fine with different objectives. And we're going to just continue this scenario though. And in that we have our 3 gods ready to go. Our board of enemies is pretty heavy. I think we're going to see some enemy action this turn. We've only got one more token to put out before we move on to the next portion of the story. And we're going to see that happen probably this episode. So let's get started and get with our gameplay of Yggdrasil Chronicles. Right, as always, the first thing that happens in a round of Yggdrasil Chronicles is we're going to draw the enemy cards for the 3 different gods, Tyr, Thor, and Freya. And then from there, we get to decide who's going to go first. Now, we get to make that decision, and whichever one we do, we're going to flip over the card and see what happens. Now, there is supposed to be some memory element, but frankly, I'm like having a whole 2 days between filming and stuff, so I don't remember the order at all, so that's not helpful to us in any way, shape, or form. But like I said, we only got one more land. We got to pop over to where Hell is and drop off one more of these promise tokens. We get to advance the chapter. The person that's most likely to do that is Thor, so I think we're going to go first with Thor because Thor is already down in the lands of the ice giants and where the frost giants are and that sort of thing. So let's see if we're going to get into bad shape here. We are. So Surt is going to go. That is bad news. We're going to put that right there and then go see what Surt is going to do. Okay, here is Surt. So it says when Surt is activated, move Surt to the world directly above the world he stands in. Well, that's a good thing because the world moved and there's nobody, even though it impacts the area where the dwarves are, where you can get artifacts, it's not going to be that bad. So let's go take it, because it says then if Surt is already on the top level, we lose. He's not. If an enemy is already present on the world where Surt is moving to, the world becomes immediately devastated. That's not going to happen either. Then after he moves, we're going to turn this. But let's go do his move action first. And here's Surt down in the land of his fire giants. Now he is going to basically pop up here to the land of the dwarves. And that's the only thing that he's going to do. It's not going to have any other effect. But then we're going to move we're going to turn the clock, the level, sorry, 1 position clockwise. So we're moving the tree again, just like so. And now we have basically altered the lands again, which kind of sucks. And then we're going to move 2 fire giants from the reserve in Muspelheim to his ladder. That is right here. So we're going to put another one here and another one here. That means Surt is currently at strength 5. That is not good. And you can see we're running out of fire giants. We can't let that happen either. So let's continue on and get to the next part of the story, because now we get to take Thor's turn, and Thor's turn is actually going to make a big impact on the game. So Thor is right over here, and he's going to take his move to move over to where Hell is. Now, he can take an action down here, and all that's great, but he's not going to do that. He's going to take the action of dropping off one of the last of the promise tokens onto the board, and that's going to change the scenario. So let's go see what happens after that. Okay, it says turn the page when you have placed 1 promise token face down on each of the 9 worlds. Do not look at the promise tokens. We've done that. So I'm going to take Needhog off of here for a moment, and we're going to turn the page. Now we're on Saga 1, Step 2 of 4, and you can see it's got some pictures of Balder, the gods, one of the gods. We're going to take Needhog and put him back right here. It says turn the page when 2 artifacts have been discarded. I don't know why we would do that yet, but we're about to find out. So the Aesir took Balder's body and carried it into the sea. Hringborn was the name of Balder's ship, and it was set on fire. this isn't a really bad text. It's hard to read. Thor consecrated the pyre with Mjolnir. Odin laid on the pyre a golden ring called Draupnir. Then that's who wrote it. It says, on Asgard, discard one artifact. You have then discard cards. Oh, the discarded cards are then returned to the box for the rest of the game. That means we discard these artifacts. One of the artifacts I actually have is that Draupnir. That's one of the ones Thor has. So we're going to have to go get some artifacts now in the second stage, and we have to do that before Nidhogg moves 3 times, and he's very likely to move again because one of his cards is already on the board. We also have to finish up what happened here. I should have done this already, but it's okay. So Tyr is getting his card back, and Thor's getting his card back. That goes on the bottom of his deck. So the cards for Surt are now on the bottom for them, so he's less likely to return to the board for a moment. And that is going to be the end of Thor's turn. So now we know we got to destroy some artifacts, which means we probably need to go get some. Unfortunately, Surt is there. I have an idea to get. I think we're going to send a good old Freya down there first to drive Jormungand back, because if he moves again, we're going to lose, or moves 2 more times, we're going to lose the game. And then we can also then go after Surt. So let's take Freya's turn next. Here's Freya's card. Let's see what she... Oh, it's a Surt card. That's actually not a bad thing. So we know that Surt... Now, well, I can't memorize the exact order of the cards. We know we just put the other two Surt cards on the bottom, so he's not going to appear for a while. So nothing happens there. She gets to take her turn. She is up here where she was collecting elves. She's got like a virtual army of elves. It's pretty amazing. So what she's going to do is she's going to drop down to here, and she is going to attack Jormungand, who's on this island right here, I believe, is her action. Okay, so Jormungand's strength is a 3. Now she gets her base die, and she's got her elves too, by the way, which will, I'm sure she's going to spend one of them for sure to increase her chances of blocking damage. We need to block as much damage as possible. I don't want to take too much damage. I think I will use one of her Vanir dice, and that means it's going to go away, but that's okay. And I think she's going to spend an elf. So what that means is these now count as successes for her as well as the shields. So we got 2 dice and an elf that we're going to spend on that. I could spend her 3rd dice in that, but I think we'll hold on to it. If we take a little damage, we're okay. Let's roll the dice and see what happens. Well, we didn't block this one, but we did that one. So we're going to take 2 damage. So I'm going to take these 2 off right now. She took 2 damage, but that does mean she does drive. Because remember, you never actually lose the fights, but she does drive Jormungand back. That does not drive him completely back. It just pushes him back 1 island. We want to get him back to his starting home. But at least that gives us a breather, and she was able to accomplish that. She took a little damage. Now, when she moves over to... she's going to move over and start getting some artifacts next turn and drive Surt back down. That's probably going to be a little more harrowing for her. We'll see. She might spend more than 1 elf, and she's probably going to spend a lot of dice. One other thing we have to do is clear this off so we can use these guys, because right now that giant is blocking it. However, we haven't set up Tyr for big battles, so we'll see what he does. We're going to do his turn right now. We're going to flip this over. Fenrir. You know what's amazing is both times Fenrir has activated. Both times it has been with Tyr. And which I thought Tyr's special ability would be terrible, because what it means is the after effects of Fenrir's activating don't affect him. That's his only ability. I thought, well, that's really going to suck. How often is that going to happen? Well, it's happened on both times that Fenrir is activated, which is pretty darn good. So let's go see what happens when we activate the beast Fenrir. Okay, here's Fenrir. When Fenrir is activated, we're going to move Fenrir from his cage and place it on Asgard. Here's his cage, so he breaks out of his cage and he comes over to Asgard, where he's going to do some bad things. And then it says if an enemy is already present, there isn't one. There is. These are not considered enemies. The Jotun. We're talking about one of the enemy gods, as far as I understand. If that's not correct, please let me know. If Fenrir is already out of the cage, which he wasn't, then we have some other problems. Now it says your turn as the active god ends immediately. You do not move, take actions, or trigger. Instead, shuffle the Fenrir card you just got back into your enemy deck instead of placing it beneath the deck as usual. Yeah, so we're going to shuffle both the decks up for the people that had those cards. But, well, actually, I think the one goes on the bottom. His gets shuffled, according to that. However, his ability keeps that you lose your turn thing from happening. So we're still going to get to take Tyr's turn. Tyr is down here with the giants, and I think what we're going to do is he's going to move straight up level, and I'll tell you why. So he's going to move up here to the land of the creatures up here. So now that Tyr is up here with the creatures, he's going to get to draw 2 of them, and we're going to get to keep 1. So let's see what these 2 creatures do. All right, we have Hugin and Munin. I think those are Odin's crows, and we have Erd. So let's take a look at those. I'm on the artifacts page, creatures page. Okay, yeah, Hugin and Munin. Their ability is to take up to 2 Vanir dice from Vanheim and place them in your personal stock. Well, that seems pretty good. And Erd, what does Erd do? Choose 2 enemy cards on the wheel of the enemies. The owner of each places it back beneath their enemy deck without shuffling. Oh, wow. I could get rid of... I don't know. I think we're going to take the Vanir dice, guys. I think we are. So we're going to use Hunin and Munin. And we're going to get Vanir dice for Tyr. So this whole thing, that card avoids the fact that Loki's there. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to take 2 dice, and we're going to put them on Tyr's board. And then we're going to take this and shuffle it into his deck. And I think for Freya, I think it's just going to go on the bottom. I don't think it shuffles unless she's the one that activated it. So we'll shuffle his deck up after I put the camera down. And basically, guys, that's another round. That's another full round of Yggdrasil Chronicles. You're seeing how the story's progressing. So we got these promise tokens out, but now we have to destroy some artifacts and get them over to... basically, that will solve this portion of the chapter as we sacrifice things to Baldur's funeral. Pretty interesting. I'm digging this game. It's cool. It's a little fiddly in a sense, but it's interesting and fun. It doesn't feel as hard as the original Yggdrasil, but it could just be that this scenario builds up and gets more difficult as it goes. But anyway, there's another round for you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Channel really helps out a lot when you do that, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time and your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.